What's going on, guys? Gilly Writes Comics here, co-creator of Galactic Rodents of Mayhem. And I'm joined with...
Ron here, Hero Geek, and we are going to talk about the new Mortal Kombat movie. Me and Gilly both had a chance to see it over the weekend.
The Geektastic Duo is about to strike. Ron hates this movie. I know we're dealing with a video game movie, so my expectations were very low coming into this, and I actually enjoyed the movie. And this is where it's going to be interesting talk. So, Ron, what's up, man? What did you like about the movie? Because you said there's very little that you did like.
The opening, the beginning was really strong.
And
I thought, well, if the opening of the movie is this strong, then the rest of the movie is going to be pretty great.
Okay, so we got one for the opening. Is that where that was it? The opening's the best part and nothing else salvageable?
The opening, also everything with Hanzo Hasashi and Bihan was really solid. That was a strong opening, strong motivation for the character, strong reason for him to seek revenge on Bihan, on Sub-Zero. I want to see that movie, and it was barely in the movie. You know, the scene at the end where Scorpion fights Sub-Zero, that was cool, and it was ruined by this new character that I didn't give a crap about.
And if you guys are wondering about that new character, he's on the left of this screen right here. We'll get into him. Yeah. I agree with you, man. What I enjoyed about the movie was the opening scene. For me, I thought it was really incredibly done. Yeah. It's basically your Scorpion Sub-Zero backstory. And I mean, if you're familiar with, the game, or even if you saw Scorpion's Revenge, it goes along those lines. It even has some Ghost of Tsushima type vibes. It's really cool, and the acting was superb.
For these two actors, they were great.
And you got the motivations, right? We get that.
I love how they were speaking Japanese and Chinese. Oh, that was so cool.
That's amazing. And I always love that angle with Sub-Zero and Scorpion, right? Like the Shida Ryu, that's Sub-Zero's clan, right? And then we have the Lin Kuei, which is Sub-Zero's clan. I love that he spoke Chinese and he knows Japanese. That you could just from there, he's vast,
it was a solid opening scene. It was
the opening was incredible. The action was incredible. So Ron said the ending.
The fight choreography for that first scene was the best in the entire movie. The rest of the fights in the whole movie were not that good.
I'll give you that. I'm gonna say another thing that I enjoyed, because I know you pretty much touched on what you enjoyed. Again, I like when I'm going into this. I got to be real. I know we're dealing with a superhero. We're dealing with a video game movie. Right, and my expectations are low. I've been hurt too much in the past when I put my expectations so high that I literally was expecting what I got when I watched, Kong versus Godzilla. Right, it's just going to be something fun. So that's all I wanted. I just wanted something fun. For the most part, it was fun to watch for me.
I think I know what you're going to mention.
What?
Kano was fun. I had to admit
Kano was fun.
Kano was fun.
He was a great casting choice. Some of the casting choices here I like. There's nothing that I didn't like as far as the casting choices. I thought Shang Tsung was a good choice. Raiden I thought was a great choice. Melina was okay. Cabal was cool. I like how he sounded. He sounded like the guy. He sounded like the guy from Saw. I don't know.
The things that I liked. I liked the way he spoke. I thought he was.
Jax, I thought he looked great for the character. I thought he looked
great, but his acting was horrible.
Again, we're dealing with a video game movie, and they did set the bar so high with the opening, and we're gonna get more into how that fizzled away. Sonya, I was okay with her casting. Now we have this character. They have a few other characters in there. This is a spoiler rant, so we are gonna say some spoilers. They show Kung Lao. They show Liu Kang. I thought those were great casting choices in my opinion.
Kung Lao's my favorite MK character.
Kung Lao looked really great.
I love Kung Lao,
so we'll touch up some things I didn't like, but let's get with the things I did like. The fight scenes I thought were okay. After the Scorpion Sub-Zero, they set the bar so high, but there was. But then again, in the end is where so I agree. Like some of the fights in the middle were That could have used a little bit more umph, and the comedy that Kano brings. For me, he was a riot. I mean, I think he's British
I love
in
the
the lore
where Sonya says, "Oh, I don't have the mark" or something, and you hear Kano say "wah wah" in the back.
He's good. He was the best comic relief in that show. He was amazing. The dimension that he had, he's a villain, right? So we get to see that. Okay, he's it's like he's joining the good guys, but then there's a real moment that comes and he's just
which was predictable,
right?
I mean,
Which was predictable. Now, one thing I thought was cool, and I'll give you this, and this is where it could be flip flop, where you can make a negative case for it, and I'm okay with that. I thought, okay, remember this as a TV show, I think would have been incredible.
Would have been way better as a TV show because it could have out a lot more.
They could have really built up so much. They could have took their time with Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Because again, spoiler rant. So once we get to this whole cool opening scene where Scorpion kills, where Sub-Zero kills Scorpion's family, and the way he does it, I mean, it's like, why? It's cold. Sub-Zero's cold, right? We know that, right? He's cold, right? And it was cold. As I'm a father, dude, like I'm a family man, and I'm like kind of like my eyes are watering when I'm looking at, Hanzo, Scorpion, and like this, like he got to just deal with that. His freaking wife and his son is dead. Like that was a little powerful. Then he
tries to crawl to the crying baby. That was
he fights with Sub-Zero. He gets killed pretty much, but like the crying baby kind of wakes him up, and he's trying to call, and he just dies. Like he bled out, and I'm like, oh, and then like his body fizzles into the netherworld, the nether realm.
That part of the movie was phenomenal. I love the opening scene in this movie.
And they had so much to go with if they kept that direction. And even let's say if we go to a TV show, we could explore the centuries where Scorpion is in the netherrealm. We could have seen his journey. We could have seen that he'd been there for a while cooking, and it's not like he just quickly got it. It seems like night to day, like he gets to enact his revenge. But I mean, we're talking time has passed, man. So all that suffering and that vengeance building up, that was an interesting, story. So they did that well. And I feel like if this was a TV show, I think it could have worked great because we could have fleshed out a lot of the characters, a lot of fighting. And because we're dealing with a movie and we gotta, move super fast with the story, they have this thing in the movie, this gimmick, right? It's called like Arcana, right?
Oh, Arcana.
Arcane, right? Arcane is like secrecy. It's like, something, So when we're dealing with the Arcana, it's like this hidden, secret, latent ability that you gotta muster out in a certain way.
Bro, I thought that was dumb, bro.
So here's the thing. I'm gonna give you that it was dumb, right? But for me, I thought if you're gonna put a different spin on this, right, and make it work for the movie, again, if it was a TV show, that whole Arcana thing could have been really deep. But again, we're digressing here, right? We gotta do what we got. For the movie, I was okay with it, right? Because it's like, okay, if you played the video games,
no, but the thing is though, some of them didn't make any sense. Like
I'll give you that a lot of them didn't make any. I'll give you that a lot of them didn't make any sense. But what I'm saying is, what made it interesting is that it's something you have to build out, right? Because if you think about the video game, you're playing a video game, right? Mortal Kombat, right? They're human beings, right? But you see Sonya shooting out rings. You see Johnny Cage, doing his thing. I thought later on, I think he shoots something, if I'm not mistaken. I know he did the split.
Johnny Cage. Okay, one thing I kept saying with this new character, like, who the hell is this guy? Where's Johnny Cage? Who the hell is this guy?
We're gonna get to that.
Johnny
Hold on.
Cage?
We're gonna get to that. Hold on. I'm still on the Arcana, right? Because
right.
We're playing this game, right? Sub-Zero could do freezing stuff. Again, he practiced with the Lin Kuei. That could be explained. Scorpion in the Netherrealm, just adopting fire. I'm okay with that. Shang Tsung, I don't see him as a human being, right? He comes from, the outer world, right? Is this interdimensional tournament, and he's, that's them against Earth and all these other dimensions. Okay, great. What I'm saying is, when you play the game, you always wonder how they do these superhuman powers, right? Like, how could you, take someone's heart out? If you're a human being like Sonya, how are you shooting rings, and how could you kiss someone and they can just crumble to dust? So Liu Kang, how are you doing fireballs? Again, if you're Shaolin and you're training, I can get all that. They don't do that. They're giving you this Arcana gimmick. Okay, so I have to buy into it because I didn't make the movie. You're making a movie. I got to watch it. So I'll buy into the gimmick. I'll buy into it. And there's things that I didn't like about it. I liked how Kano figures it out, right? I love how
Yeah,
remember,
but the
they
thing
gotta
is,
build
though,
it out to you, right?
it's not. Sorry, it's not supposed to be Arcana. Kano in the lore of the video games, it's a cybernetic guy.
I'm with you on that.
And with
Again,
Jax,
I'm with you on again.
with,
His is like the
with
government. They made him, or their cybernetic arms,
yeah,
right?
I
This
mean,
tech. I'm with you on that.
magically, his arms become more high tech. Like what?
I'm with you on that. But again, I gotta eat what they're feeding me. It's because I'm going into it. I'm like, okay, this is your gimmick. I'll play along as
I
long as
spit
you
it out.
justify
I
it
threw
in
it
a
out.
good way.
I spit out what they fed me.
You spit it out. I get it. So I get it. What I did like about it, I like how Kano got his Arcana, right? Because that was so funny, right? They're just riling him up. They're getting him pissed off, and they're saying the most stupidest things to get him pissed. They're dissing him, man. They're calling him the worst. They're roasting him. And he's getting mad, and all of a sudden the thing shoots out. Like, I think it's cool, like, that if you're chosen, you got to, like, do something to get your ability. You got to earn it. I'm okay with that. I'll go with that. Jax, like, when my wife saw Jax and she was going to fight Sub-Zero, I'm like, he's going to get destroyed. She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, babe, I played this game. Do you not know? I'm like, he's going to get his arms ripped off or something. He's going to be left for dead. And literally, they did that perfect. Him going against Sub-Zero, they did that perfect. I love how they built up Sub-Zero. But what I didn't like is, okay, I'm okay if he survives. I get that. What would have been cool is, like, let's just say like government agents found him and they're like, okay, well, now he's a perfect for this Secret X program that they have for the arms. And okay, they didn't do all that because I guess we don't have a TV show here where we could really take our time with this. So he shows up in like this in the Shaolin clan where that Liu Kang trains,
These
and where
rinky stupid arms.
and they should have let. If you're giving me this Arcana crap, right? Like I said, you're spoon feeding me this crap that Ron's spitting out. If you're giving me this, leave him armless. Let him look let him look like Gimp. Let him look like he's worthless. Like he just with no arms, like, Kano ribbing him. Like, just leave him like that. And then, like, he's determined, like, okay, I'll fight with my feet. I'll just, like, he's so determined to fight with no arms that, the Arcana brings them, and it's maybe not metal arms. Maybe they could be stone arms or metal, like, because you're going with the Arcana. If you switch that so they're not so cybernetic, or they're like, I'll let that slide. So there's a lot that I also didn't like with the fighting. I felt like some of the fighting was kind of like rushed. It didn't feel like, I mean, it's a tournament. I get this whole gimmick here is they didn't want a tournament, right? Shang Tsung just wants to kill all the heroes, so we don't have a tournament. Okay, great. So that's your motivation. So we get some cool Easter eggs and stuff. Cool. Kung Lao was great, and this is my problem. He was such a cool character that
you killed him off.
You kill him off.
Yeah. Oh, that pissed me off. Like, what?
Yeah, that was bad. I'll give you that. Yeah. I didn't like that. I mean, it was cool that he killed him, but I'm like, again, even though I like him in the movie, I didn't connect with him so. I connect with him because we know the character from the video games. But when I'm watching the movie, just what I'm going through there, I'm not getting that moment where when he's dying, it's like it's really hurting me. It's just like, yeah, this is Mortal Kombat. It's a fatality. Okay. Okay, and that's it.
He did a cool fatality with the hat thing. That was pretty cool.
That was cool how he did that, and he did flawless victory. That was like really good. I would love that. That for me, that was a 10 out of 10. I love how that happened.
So another thing where's Baraka? Like, I want to see Baraka. Like,
Baraka will get in there. He'll get in there. They got a sequel. I wanted to see Johnny Cage. I was harping that they didn't have him in there, and then at the end they're like Hollywood, and we get the movie poster. But I'm cool with that. I
think that was a fix after what the director said. Oh, we got to add this scene.
If he would have not showed in any way, shape, or form, it would have been like blasphemy. At least for me, as a video game fan, he's one of the original heroes.
Johnny, my favorite MK characters are Sub-Zero, Johnny Cage, and Kung Lao. Those are
like Johnny Cage
MK characters.
Kung Lao, I liked him. I wouldn't say he was like favorite, but he's up there. Sub-Zero's up there for me. Mm-hmm. Sub-Zero, even Scorpion, equally so. Just because I just thought their rivalry was so great, and I did like Johnny Cage because he's a ripoff of he's a B movie action hero. What's not to love? He's like a ripoff of Jean-Claude Van Damme. What's not to love about this guy?
But I did not.
He's too much fun. So that's another thing. So real quick, I hated the fact that they killed off Kung Lao because, again, if this was a TV show and you built them for a couple of episodes, and then like Game of Thrones, we see Sean Bean get his head chopped off. You're like, what? Like we see Kung Lao get like, you know, Shang Tsung killing him. Okay, great. It just felt cheap. It's just like, okay, we're gonna cheap fatality here. Like you could have created any other guy that was a fighter and Shang Tsung just killed him. I mean, you could have done that. You didn't have to make it Kung Lao because he's a very powerful character. That bothered me. Or at least if he's trying to do that, maybe I know Raiden can intervene, but just have to do something where Raiden saves him so he can still stick around. I don't know. That bothered me because I love Kung Lao. Mm-hmm. But again, like if we, you know, the curse of the superheroes or the curse of the comic books or the curse of the villain, right? Like if something really dies, like do they stay dead? I mean, I think Kung Lao will stay dead. Sub-Zero, I know he'll come back in another form because he has family. So you can't just write off Sub-Zero.
No,
like he needs to be in there. He needs to be in there. Yeah, I don't care. Bring him. You need to be in there. You need a Sub-Zero in there. As long as you bring a Sub-Zero in there. But
Melina was lame. Melina was lame.
Melina was lame. She had some.
They didn't do it right. They didn't do it right.
Exactly. She had cool teleportation moves and cool when her mouth was opening, but again, she was wasted. She was wasted. Sonya, I thought was cool. I liked that she was
Sonya
tough.
Was okay. Yeah,
I like that she was tough, and I like that when she finally got her. That's the thing that I didn't like about now.
We're killing. If you don't earn it, you just kill someone who has it. That's it.
That's another thing that I didn't like is the birthmark thing, because again, it's a gimmick you're kind of giving me, and I'm reading it a different way when this main character kind of had it. He's born with it. You're like, wow, so he's a descendant of Hanzo through the daughter that survived. You know, been having kids for generation to generation. It comes out him. He's part of it. So I thought that was cool. But then Jax had one. I'm like, okay, I misread this thing. So he's not part of the lineage. Just anyone gets it. But then they show like he is part of the lineage because that explains all the flashbacks with Scorpion, which was a cheesy thing. Because again, I'm upset because they could have brought Scorpion in. He could have had a big role. They forget about him for the rest of the movie. He comes back in the end. It's like,
the end, which is
so anticlimactic. It doesn't even have any oomph to when he shows up.
The two best fights in the movie are bookended. The first fight and then the last fight between Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
Again, because the whole main thing is like, okay, the whole heroes, the gathering of the heroes, I'm okay with that. But they create this new character that you weren't crazy about. Cole Young, here's my thing about him. The only thing I liked about him was that he was a family guy. I guess that's a family guy in me. You know, you could see he really cared about his daughter, and he really cared about his wife, and they cared about him. You know, they watch him in these gruesome MMA fights. You got to be family. You got to be to watch your dad get his ass kicked, and they start him off where you feel like, okay, I guess if he wins the first one, it's too like he's gonna win. Okay, we're seeing he's a main character. He wins, so they changed it off that like he loses, which okay, I could go with that. It was kind of different. Okay. But then you're selling me that he's going to be this hero, but then he loses his first fight in a way that it was fair and square.
I'm going to give you my final thoughts. The stuff with Hanzo and behind Scorpion Sub-Zero, that was good. I wanted to see more of that. We did not get enough of that. Everything else, the new character, to me, was trash. I didn't care about him. I wanted Johnny Cage. I didn't get Johnny Cage. I got this idiot,
He was here's the thing. Oh my God, let's get to one other big issue I had. This new guy, right? The newbie doesn't get his Arcana, gets his ass kicked, goes back to his family. His
power is getting his ass kicked.
That's his power. So when his family's threatened by none other than Goro. Okay, they bring Goro in. Goro looked cool. He was really menacing. His freaking Arcana ability sparks. And because now I know the lineage, the bloodline, I'm thinking, is he going to come into like a new version of the Shira Ryu, like a cool little ninja, kind of like, armor type or something? I would have liked that. I would have suckered into that because you're playing with my nostalgia, right? He doesn't get that. He gets like this weird bandage type gold armor up to his throat. So we still see his freaking idiot face. And then he gets like these Tompa type, which is kind of cool, but it's just like
one bladed and one is like blunt.
But it's like he's an MMA guy. We never get any hint that he could fight with this stuff. And then he's just taking it to Goro. He kills him in a cool way.
Yeah.
It's brutality. So it's cool how he just kills him, but it's like, and I could get when your family's threatened, but again, we don't care about him. Again, this was a TV show. Maybe you want to bring a new character. We could care about him. Make his Arcana badass. This is Mortal Kombat. There's no short of imagination. If he would have come into some version of like Scorpion in a way, like just look like like it's just an embodiment of him through the Arcana, I would have loved that. I would have, and he has the hook, right? Because it's still part of the bone. Like if he still had like that, I would have forgave it, because I'm like, you're giving me the Scorpion like in some way, shape, or form, an embodiment of it, because he's from the bloodline. We don't get that. We get this. The girl daughter's like badass suit. No, bro, that was not a badass suit. That was a weak ass suit.
That was
a weak ass suit.
The character was lame. I did not like him. I was like, I just kept on saying, like, where's Johnny Cage? Why is Johnny Cage not in this movie? I ultimately, you know.
Was it fun for you? Was it fun? Was it Godzilla Kong fun? Like you knew what you're getting into?
No. It wasn't like that. I didn't have fun with this movie.
I had fun. Kano was fun. The brutality was okay. The fight scenes in the beginning and the end were fun. We're gonna get Johnny Cage. That's where they can make amends. They can make things right.
I don't know. This new director, I'm not sure, man.
He has to. You got to give fan service. It's plain and simple. He got the backlash. You're taking up a property called Mortal Kombat, interdimensional combat, and you're not going to give us...
He phoned it in, bro. He phoned it in.
Well, then phone it in again. Because, I mean, when Mortal Kombat, the sequel comes out, I'm going to watch it. I'm not going to watch it. And my expectations are still ankle high. I don't have high expectations for this. But I could put my brain away. I want more Sub-Zero, Scorpion, show him in the Netherworld, show Scorpion the brother, show Sub-Zero's brother, build this collision course thing between Scorpion and the new Sub-Zero. I'm good with that.
What would get me to watch it if this was like a pilot episode of a TV show. If they changed the rest of the story into a TV show, I'm like, okay, I can probably check this out.
You know they're not going to do that. It's probably going to be another movie thing. I'm not.
Why not? Why can't they make this an HBO Max show or something?
I mean, they could. I mean, but they wasted an opportunity with this movie. So I said it was fun because I put my brain in the freezer and I kept my expectations ankle high. So I'm okay with what I got. Although you can hear my gripes. But you know, there's a lot of potential. It started out great. You know, like Ron said, the bookend fight scenes were great. The Scorpion Sub-Zero mix was awesome. And then it just kind of was too rushed, too gimmicky. Kano was great. I mean, he did provide some humor.
Cabal was good.
Cabal was good. I mean, for what it's worth,
Baraka, like I wanted Baraka.
We'll get him. There's Reptile. They ruined Reptile.
They
ruined him. They made him like a Velociraptor, like kind of monster thing. He wasn't. They didn't even humanoid him at all. It was stupid. So, a lot. Again, I put my expectations low, but it was entertainment enough where I sat and I stayed up through the whole thing, and it was kind of cool. You teased us with the beginning and end, but hopefully you rectify that.
At one point, it became, I'm only watching this to do this, what we're doing now. That's it. We got we got to review the competition, right? We got to review the competition. Like, people are going to make stuff. I need to see it because guess what? When people are not getting that quality, they're going to come to Gilly Wrights Comics. I got Galactic Rodents of Mayhem coming out. Ron has also his comic, Paragon Prime. So what we're doing is taking care of our stories, but we got to see what's out there. And we grew up on Mortal Kombat. That's our childhood. So we're doing our due diligence. We're watching a movie. We didn't, Ron didn't enjoy it. I have my expectations low. I thought it was a fun ride. It could have been amazing if we got the storytelling that we got with Sub-Zero and Scorpion, and we didn't get this hashed in new guy. And if they would have just took their time to just let this guy go and maybe bring in a Johnny Cage, it could have been cool. But again, you didn't want to focus on Johnny Cage. Great, you want to make a new character, but come on, man, just do it right. His Arcana was weak. This movie could have been a lot better, but I'll take it because I'm not making Mortal Kombat, so I got to take what they give me. And if it gets to that really that bad, we'll just not watch it. But anyway, guys. Geektastic Duo here. Let us know your thoughts on Mortal Kombat. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Well, I mean, let us know. Ron, anything else? No, I'm good.
All right, guys, there you have it. Geektastic Duo here. Let us know what you think. Mortal Kombat spoiler rant. Geek out, guys.
Geek out.
Peace.